Please welcome Carol Ann Peteroli, Unexpected Outcome. Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, Toastmasters. And I don't think we have any guests here, so it's all us. I wanted to talk about a day that happened last month at Keesler Air Force Base. It was part of a Tire Wing initiative, and it was called Resiliency Day. I was in class learning more about my job, and a lot of the people in class were kind of a little bit mixed feelings about this day because we had to take a whole day devoted to getting to know people around the base. And they had events kind of circulating around that. And usually people, when you make something mandatory in the military, they get kind of, I don't know, they don't want to do it. They'd rather have other things that they have to do, maybe take leave, or I have no idea. But there was a lot of negativity around it, but I was trying to stay positive because I knew it was for a good purpose. It was to make the Air Force better and cohese us a little bit more. So the day came, I think it was Friday the 13th, so it was right before a weekend. And there was a 3.5 mile walk. I don't think it was really 3.5 miles, but I spent most of the walk with a coworker talking about work. I'm like, well, this doesn't really seem like the point of the day. So then I had to go home and change and come back, and there was small group activities after that. And we all got assigned a certain room ahead of time. It was kind of an organized thing. You don't know who's in your room. I kind of looked ahead of time and saw the roster, and I'm like, I don't know any of these people. I'm wondering if I'm gonna get stuck with a bunch of new airmen up there, and then we're in a different career field than me. So weather, and I'm PMO, which is a precision measurement equipment laboratory craftsman, and it's a lot to say, but it's kind of an electrician, and we calibrate stuff. So weather, they predict the weather, and they learn how to do that, and they go work in a tower. So it's kind of two different worlds, and most of them were weather, and I was one of the only electronics people in there. So I go in there and we all sit down and we do this introduction, and we have a piece of paper that tells us kind of like a guideline of what we're going to do, and nobody really is in charge, just we walk in there. And we're in civilian gear, so you can't even tell what rank we are. I guess that's kind of the point, is to stay anonymous, just so nobody knows. And I go first because everybody was kind of hesitant to go first, and how we had to introduce ourselves, we had to tell two truths and a lie. And I've had to do this before. I'm no stranger to these kind of weird introductions at the Air Force, sometimes as you do to get to know each other. So I did that, and everyone seemed to kind of calm down, and they all got kind of fun with it and kind of guessed each other's lie. So the mood kind of went down. But before I had walked in there, I was so upset because I had just had a fight with my fiance about something, and it was kind of dealing with my ex-husband and my daughter, and he was telling me that I had done yet another thing wrong in parenting her or something. So I was just all kinds of stressed out about it. It was bothering me, and I didn't know if it was going to make me feel better to go sit with a bunch of people that I didn't really know and talk about Resiliency Day, bounce back from stressful situations so that we can go back and do our mission, which was the whole point of stopping the mission to do this, is so we can get better at doing that. Puzzling. But, so I go in there, and the next exercise is we're already in there, and the next exercise is to write down a problem that has been bothering us for the last month, maybe days or a week, and it's just been weighing on our shoulders. And we write it on a piece of paper, don't put our name, and we crumple it up, and we had to put it into a cup. And we could have another problem, but we had to kind of separate our problems on each piece of paper and just crumple it up, throw it in the cup. And after we throw it in the cup, we could kind of shake it up a little bit, and then individually people would randomly draw one, read it out loud, and the person that had the problem could speak up and either explain it more, or they could talk about it anonymously, what they would do to help fix it. And I thought about it for a while because this issue was kind of weighing on me. I'm like, how do I talk to a group of kids like this? I call them kids, really young, just younger than me mentally, I guess, thinking, because I don't think any of them had kids. But so I'm like, how do I write something that's gonna make sense to them, that they're gonna want to try to help me and offer input? And I was thinking about parenting and this dense fog I'm kind of walking through. I'm just guessing. Sometimes I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just making decisions and hoping it all works out. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna write it down, throw it in there, see what happens. And a lot of them had a lot of problems that were really significant. I could relate to some of them. Their dad was sick with cancer, and that kind of reminded me of my problems with my dad when he had cancer. And getting to see him. So I kind of put my supervisor hat on, which I hadn't done in quite a while because I haven't had supervised any airmen. I'm kind of in an office with everybody my rank or higher. And I told them certain avenues that they could take. And then eventually they got to my paper and they opened the paper up and it was just a simple sentence. And all it says is, I'm a single mother and I'm very worried about my kids. And I immediately started talking. I'm like, there's a little bit more to this. I am worried about my kids always. Like, I think all parents worry about their kids at one point or another more than others sometimes. But I got in an argument with blah, blah, blah about my ex-husband, and he said this, and I was doing something wrong again. And it's irritating me. Like, everything I do is just something wrong. And I can't shake it. So the group paused, and I could tell it was kind of like a weird thing that they hadn't really encountered, and they didn't expect to encounter in this forum. But they all gave me encouraging things like it's gonna get better, just try to think positively, and it kind of made me feel better just to get it off my chest, just to get it out there in a group of people that I didn't know, because I had talked to friends and family, and they all give me good advice and try to tell me to keep going, but it's easier said than done sometimes. Eventually we got to everybody's problem, we talked to it, and it did feel slightly better than it did when I walked in the room. But there was a man that followed me out into the hallway when I said bye and I was leaving. He's like, I don't have any kids, so I don't know if this is what I'm saying or what I'm talking about, but I was from a family of divorce. And I could tell that my mother really tried to do the best for us. And I could tell that my father was kind of not. He just wanted to make her life horrible. But regardless of that, I came out okay, I think. And he kind of gave me words of encouragement saying, like, it didn't bother me. Like, this turmoil that you're going through right now, it helped me understand what was going on, and I'm still okay. And it was kind of the other side of the story that I don't get to see because my kids are so small. I can't ask them, are you going to be okay because I didn't do this? Are you going to be okay because I didn't do that? It was enlightening, and it was an unexpected outcome to a day that everybody had been dreading. But that's my story.